Swindell with Democrat again, and we're in Petaluma for another protest on what happened in Charlottesville yesterday. This one, Congressman Huffman's going to speak at, so we'll turn over now, take a look at the crowd, and try to capture some of the remarks of the congressman. Again, this is, we've had 4 protest rallies, vigils today in Sonoma County, and you know, there were one's happening in Cloverdale, one's happening in Petaluma. We had one in Santa Rosa, and now we have this one in Petaluma. You can see a lot of people out here. There's a congressman who's going to say a few words. We'll keep it on. The congressman in there. But you can see a lot of the signs that are out here. Everyone that come out here. Probably maybe 200 people. There's a little music going in the background. A lot. There'll be a little more speeches as opposed to looking at you know, a local rally and everything like this. So we're going to have it start. The group Indivisible is sponsoring this one.
Wow. You have no idea how much I love you all, even though I don't know you. But this is amazing. My name is Zaira Garcia, and I am the organizer for this event. I am truly grateful for each one of y'all, and you definitely make Petaluma. This is a hate-free zone, and we, as we have said vocally, we will not condone any kind of violence, hate, no bigotry, no racism, white supremacists, and I am not afraid to call it what it was at Charlottesville, which is a domestic terrorism by whites. So, but anyways, I would also like to introduce Jared Huffman. We appreciate his stance and his leadership, so take it away, Jared.
All right, hello Petaluma. Well, it was a tough day yesterday. It's been a tough 48 hours, heartbreaking, kind of sickening for many of us. But I want to tell you tonight how proud I am to represent a community that comes together like this on such short notice with such resolve and unity and moral clarity. So thank you so much. Thank you, Indivisible and Zaira. You know what I love about Indivisible, literally even the name Indivisible, is what it says is that even though the racists and the xenophobes, the anti-Semites want to tear us apart, we are indivisible. And so thank you for your leadership. Thank you for that important message that we need now more than ever. And it is so important that we are gathering here tonight, and that all over California, all over this country, other communities, thoughtful people, law-abiding people are gathering in the same spirit, because we have something to say. And we want to say it loudly so that all of the racists and the neo-Nazis and the xenophobes and the anti-Semites and white nationalists and even the people in the White House who have coddled and stoked and looked the other way and indulged this terrible, hateful movement, so that even they hear us. And we're here to say that we denounce racism and hatred and violence of every kind, and we're not going to stand for it. We don't want it in our country. We don't want it certainly in our community. And we shouldn't think for a minute that we are immune to this ugliness just because we're here in wonderful Petaluma, California. The reason this is happening in places like Charlottesville and other places is because the haters have gotten the dog whistle message from the very top of our government. Right? That suddenly it's okay to come out and publicly express and even publicly act upon their violent hatred. So it's very important that we say something. Martin Luther King talked about how our lives begin to end when we see evil, when we see injustice, and when we do nothing. That by tolerating it, we actually condone and support it. And we're not going to do that here in Petaluma. So the reason I know that we're not immune from this is because right after the election last fall, we had a wonderful event that we have every year right here in downtown Petaluma, the Veterans Day Parade. And I was riding through the parade, as I always do, and thank you to the veterans here who have served our country. I've done this parade for years. I've lost track of how many years I've done it. Always one of my favorite events. It's such an all-American coming together of this community, a celebration of our country and those who serve it. But there was something different last year as my car drove right past the corner of this park. That's why I wanted to be at this vigil. I've got a lot of vigils in my district, but this is special. As my car drove past the corner of this park, I was stunned to see 3 young men holding Confederate flags, including a flag with a symbol that talked about the South rising again. They were wearing Trump t-shirts, and clearly they too had gotten this dog whistle message from the Trump campaign and President-elect at the time, Donald Trump. So none of us are immune to this hatefulness, but here's the good news. Our president yesterday quoted Nelson Mandela, who so eloquently reminded us that nobody is born hating anyone else because of the color of their skin. All of this crazy, hateful ideology is totally unnatural, and it can be unlearned, just as, unfortunately, it was learned by a lot of the people we saw yesterday in Charlottesville. So we can do our part to help teach a much better message and to help people unlearn it. And when we do, it's a powerful thing. You know, 2 years ago, I had the chance to be in Selma, Alabama for the 50-year celebration of John Lewis and Martin Luther King and others who crossed the Edmund T. Pettus Bridge marching for voting rights. And I had the chance to start a conversation with a woman sitting next to me at dinner who turned out to be the daughter of George Wallace, right? One of the most unreconstructed racists our nation has ever seen. But she told me the story about how in the final years of his life, he sort of saw the light. He came to understand how wrong the things that he had been taught, the things that he had learned really were. In the final years of his life, he became an ambassador for tolerance and unity and love. Those are the things that are going to help us get through this. The challenge of keeping our country on a forward path of progress has always been great. It's never been a steady climb, but we've always found a way through. And I think by this kind of spirit that we're seeing tonight in Petaluma, California, we are going to find a way. We're going to need to sustain it, right? The values and the moral clarity and the good judgment that have brought all of you together tonight are going to have to be sustained all the way through Election Day of next year, because that's one of our great opportunities to push back on this terrible agenda and start taking our country back. But tonight, I'm just so proud to be with all of you. I'm so pleased to see us making this positive, peaceful, and important statement together. And we're going to keep making it until people hear it all over this country and in the White House. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared Huffman, for that. We appreciate your leadership. We appreciate your time, and thank you for being, as we should all know, that he is a human being just like us, and he's here doing the right thing, and that speaks volume. I also have one more speaker. His name is John Mutt, a candidate running for Sonoma County Sheriff, and he has just a few words to say as well.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Zara. Thank you, individually. I'm not here as a candidate tonight. I'm here as just a fellow human being and a member of our community. Bigotry and hatred have no place anywhere with anyone, anytime. And as a veteran of 37 years of law enforcement, it's heartbreaking to see this kind of incident happen. I know that we can be an architect of an entirely different system. And it's up to us as community to design that for us here and now. And that time is now. You know, thank you again for coming here. I'm inspired by your presence. and I appreciate just being here with you. Thank you.